I'm sure you'll see it when we actually open an instance of the product. There is various things that we can do. Remember, this is a sales tool, so we are going to be dealing with products and dollars and cents or pounds and pennies or whatever currency it might be, wherever you are in your geographical location. But Dynamics 365 has got the capability for you to change your currency code depending on your geographical location. So you could be in Australia, you can use the Australian dollar notation, or you could be in the UK, you can use the GBP, the British pound notation, or you can also use US dollars. So there's various currencies that are in there that are already pre-built in, which you can play around with depending on your location and what currencies you are probably trading in. And if you notice there, you can also set things like the precision on your currency, and this is the 2 digits that come after your comma. So for instance, if you've got $10, it'll be 10.00. So your precision will be 2 in that case. And also you can select the symbol. As you can notice, there is a facility as well, which is pre-built, where you've got the exchange rate functionality in there. And this can be manually changed, or you can do it programmatically. So you can write in a piece of code, or just configure it so that it changes the currency according to the markets, how it's trading, or how it's rated at that particular time or moment in time. I think this is usually dictated by the markets, but obviously you've got the reserve banks of these worlds, or the central banks that have a final say in terms of the currency conversion rates. And moving on, one thing that we can do as well, remember, like I said, we're dealing with products, because obviously we might be a firm that is selling things to the outside world. We could be, selling cars. We could be selling desks. We could be selling laptops. Whatever product it is that we sell as an organization. These are the things that we would want to capture, so that we've got a decent product log within our system, so that when we do our trading and we're selling, whatever sales we have, everything is recorded in a standardized fashion. In the event that all the sales are done, you've got the management piece, or you've got the reporting piece, where management come in and they want to report on that. And different levels of management, they require different levels of reporting. Some of the reports are quite aggregated, but some of the reports, depending on the management level, a bit more granular. So you would want to make sure that you record as much as possible, so that when you report, you've got enough information to report against. Remember, database is a huge database that we're talking about, and we can store as much information as possible. But however, we can also, we want to be able to make sure that we can pull out information or data rather from that database and make meaning out of it, so that we can have information that will provide insights to management, or insights to whoever is looking at that information. So we can record information at unit group level, and we can also record information at default unit level as well. So whatever units are available, it will be based on the unit group selection. And at the bottom there, you can notice we can also input the price of each unit. And like we saw on the last slide, decimal supported. And if you want to put a bit of a description, you can put that in the subject box. However, I can notice there's a red symbol star on here. Does anyone still remember what that denotes? Please shout out if you remember what that denotes.
No, that was a mandatory field.
Fantastic. Yes, it is a mandatory field, so it has to be populated. And we have fields here on the left-hand side. These ones are not mandatory, so you can leave them blank, or you can populate them, whatever the case may be. But as a consultant who's working on the product, or as a business analyst, these are the things that you need to watch out for, to say, okay, in the future, there is a requirement to maybe report against, the products and product IDs and so on and so forth. So these are the things that you need to keep an eye on, and make sure that you specify as you write, be it your user stories, to say, for this particular field, it has to be mandatory. And also you need to define what sort of data that goes in there, because there are different field types. So it could be, a text field, or it could be, a drop-down list, or it could be, whatever field you might want it to be. So you've got on the product details section, a couple of fields that we can see here that you can input data on, and there's also spaces for data. So you could be selling, maybe perishable goods, and you want to make sure that your goods are only valid from a certain a date to a particular end date, because you don't want, as an organization, to be selling goods that have gone past their use by dates. And in the world, if you do that, chances are you get into trouble, one, with the authorities, two, even with the general public, your customers, because no one would want to buy an expired product. So just make sure that whatever it is that you're dealing with, these are the things that you need to pay particular attention to, because the more you record these things, the more you are guarding yourselves as an organization, against any eventualities in the future. And also on this particular form, we can see that there's product properties, additional details that you can put in there, or you can put in notes as well, or if there's anything else that you need to put in there, in terms of field service. Now, On to the next thing, we look at the product life cycle. So if we look at the product life cycle, you can notice that there's various things that you have to look out, or stages rather, that you have to go through in a product life cycle. So for instance, you start by creating a particular product. You then go on to, to revise. The next step will be to renovate, and then you clone, and then you eventually retire that particular product. So it is a process that you have to go through from end to end, and we will look into that, in a more detailed way in a bit. So in terms of units, there's various units that we can record against. So we've got unit groups that we use for measuring and counting products and associating prices. So for argument's sake, we are a car manufacturer, and we've got different types of vehicles that we are manufacturing. So we could be manufacturing 3 different types of models. In terms of units, we can say for model A, we are going to be creating 100 units of model A. Model B, it could be 50 units, and model C could be 150 units, whatever the case may be. So each product that you create is then associated, with the price. So depending on the price factors that the organization decides to use or decides to employ, then you can record accordingly. And base unit and lowest, when it comes to the product unit groups, you've got the base unit and lowest common unit of measure that can be sold in. So for example, you have got technicians who bill in their times, and they could be billing in their times in chunks of 15 minutes. So if you are an organization that sends out technicians, maybe they are going out to fix televisions or fix washing machines, or fix satellite boxes and things like that, you might say, how we bill, we charge you in 15-minute chunks. So your unit at that point then becomes 15 minutes, and you are charging your charges increase after every 15 minutes, and they go up. So here we're looking at a situation where we've got a catalog, and we are deciding that we've got a product which is ours, which is what we are charging for. But then we then go on in the primary unit to say, as we are charging ours, what units that we are charging for. So in this particular case, we are saying we are charging at one every hour. So if the technician gets to your house at 8 o'clock, the clock starts. If they finish the job by 8:49, you still charge that customer for an hour. But if that engineer carries on till about 10 minutes past 9, so they've fallen into the next hour, so at that point you're going to be charging them for 2 hours. So that's how it works, and that's the concept behind the units and the product units. And here on the slide, we can if you notice, we've got unit groups, which is bottles of water, and each unit is one bottle. And however, there are various packs that I use, for packing, the bottles of water. So you've got a pack which has got 6, and then another one which has got, double that, which is 12 pack. And you then go on to a crate now, which has got a 24, or a case rather, whatever the case may be. And then on top of that, you could then have, a pallet with multiple cases of 24 bottles. So that's how, the concept of units work. So depending on what service or product that you're going to be providing, to the outside world, this is how you might want to look at it, from a granular level, and then you build it up all the way, you get until you get to, to a bigger piece. And then we move on to product families. So when we get to product families, there's various things that we can do, when we go into product families. We have product families where we've got a grouping of products that are put together. So for instance, on our slide here, you can notice that we've got a bundle of products which are, down here. And we've got Exchange Online, SharePoint Online, but these are all listed, as single units. And remember, these are all bundles from the Office 365 for enterprise. So you could have an Office 365 product, but within there, or rather, it will be an Office 365 product family. But within that product family, you then have, the individual products that, make up that product family. And you can then, notice that with the products that are within the product family, you are talking about putting just a single unit of that product, because you are not talking multiples of the same product, but it's just single units of the same product which make up a family. And you can use the clone option, to create a bundle from an existing bundle. So that is if you've already got a bundle and you want to create another one, you do not really need to say create new and then you start typing afresh and you put all, all the values in there. If you've got one which already exists and it aligns to whatever next bundle you want to create, you can simply just clone an existing bundle, and there you have it. And then what you simply then do is you just go and make a few changes as and when required. And one thing that you can also do is you can add, your default price list, for the product associations. And this can be done, as required. So when we look at the product lists, there's also an element of discounts. So we might have products that are sitting within a product list, but however, we might, as an organization, want, to include a discount. I think for those that have worked in the sales environment, you are aware of things like loss leaders, where businesses go in and maybe price something at a very, very low price. But at the end of the day, what they're simply trying to do is to try and hook you in to come and make a purchase. And they know that when you buy something from that cheap basket of products, chances are you're going to go and buy the next product, and that's when they will catch you. And you'll have to, pay a premium on the next product. But you wouldn't know psychologically, because you're going in there, you're thinking, okay, this particular shop is cheap, or this particular organization is cheap. And you've seen one or two products that are discounted. But that's when they catch you when you try and buy something else from their product catalog. And the beauty of Dynamics 365 is you can have a single product which can be associated with multiple price lists. So you've got price lists that you have as well within Microsoft Dynamics, where you can associate particular products within that price list. And within that price list, you can also, associate things like opportunities, quotes, orders, and invoices. I don't know, just to throw a quick question out there. Does anyone understand the concept of opportunities?
Yeah, I think the concept of opportunities comes after you've been able to effectively taken advantage of a lead. So at that point, that has been converted to an opportunity.
Okay. So we are saying that you initially have a lead, and then you have interacted with that lead, that relationship, you've managed it, and then you're saying that it then goes on to an opportunity. Did I get you right?
Yes, when you have a potential customer that you've been able to convince, and you are sure that at this point, the customer is no longer saying, oh, I'm not interested, but it's just like in the middle way. Now you now have an opportunity to convert that customer to, not really, he's no longer a potential customer this time around. Oh yeah, he's a potential customer, but it's an opportunity, something that you can now go for because they've shown interest.
Yep, I completely agree with you. I think you are very right on that one. So an opportunity is basically a lead that is ready to buy. So someone comes in initially and they are just expressing an interest in your product or your services, and then you cultivate that relationship, and then you get to the point where you think, okay, now they are ready to buy. That's when they convert from from a lead to an opportunity. And quotes, I'm sure majority of us know what quotes are. Is anyone happy just to tell us what their understanding is regarding a quote?
Hi. Could that be something that will be can be used to draw customers' attention? Like a catchy word, something of that nature. I don't know if I'm right.
In terms of Dynamics 365, it's slightly different, but I think you're on the right path.
Could it be the price? Or the price?
Yes. So basically, in Dynamics 365 terms, a quote is a request for your products and services at specific prices, quantities or payment terms, etc. So you might be selling flowers, and I've come to you and I say, I need to buy flowers, and I'm looking at the flowers, and I get to a point where I'm thinking, your flowers are too nice. I think I'm going to buy them. But first, before I buy, I'll say to you, can you give me a quote? So in your quote, what you're simply going to say is you're going to specify, okay, I'm going to sell you roses, at this amount, and the quantities are these, and these are the payment terms. So maybe as a business, you might say, yes, I know you're an established company. I'll give you, maybe 30 days to pay. Or you simply say, you know what, it's cash on delivery. So you pay upfront, and then, we give you the flowers. So those are the things that you would put in a quote in Dynamics 365 sales terms. And does anyone want to take on orders? What is your understanding of orders? I mean, just generally.
It's a request you put in place for a product or a service.
I think you are a bit faint. Would you like to speak up for us, please?
I said it's a request you put in place for a product or a service.
Fantastic. Yes, that's great. So, yes, at that point where I then say, you know what, I need to buy those flowers, that is the request that I will put in to say, you know what, I'm giving you my request. I need X amount of flowers. And then finally, invoices. I'm sure we all get invoices one way or the other. Anyone want to take that one?
An itemized list of services or products that have been ordered by the customer.
Yeah, great, fantastic. Thank you ever so much. Yeah, that is it to the T. So it's basically allows you to bill, for services directly to the customer or employees or external service providers. And you create this based on, various things. It could be milestones or partial payments or final payments, whatever the case may be. And then you've got obviously the cost, which is probably time and material. And then there's also the notion of discounts, which we spoke about, where you're looking at optional child records offering, bulk discounts. So on here, we've got a screenshot of what a price list would look like. So you've got the status of, the price list, because you want to make sure that whatever you're selling, you're using a price list which is reflective of the current prices that the organization is selling at. You don't want to have a price list which is outdated, because if you bill me using an old price list, I'm simply going to challenge you and pay using that amount that you said you're going to sell at. And then on there, you would want to capture various things regarding that product, which is the name, the start date, the end date, and the currency. And if you want to add in a description, you can do that as well. And so if we look at the sales ordering process at an overview level, we've got three things. I think we've already spoken about the opportunity. Then from the opportunity, things move on to a quote because someone has expressed an interest to buy your product or your service. As an organization, you give them a quote. This is, what you want, and this is what we sell at, and these are the payment terms. At the back of that is you have an order to order for the goods. And this is confirming request, of delivery of the goods. And then ultimately you invoice the person, because that's the point where the goods have gone out or you've provided the particular service. And in terms of quotes, we've got quite a lot of things that we can record against the quotes. So if you notice here, you've got a quote ID, you've got a revision ID, you've got the name of the organization that you are giving the quote out to, the currency that you're using, the price list. Here we can see that it's linked to the retail, things that we are retailing or selling. And then we've got sections, where we can put in extra information like shipping. How are we going to ship this? The shipping methods that we're going to do, things like payment terms, if there's any freight terms, whatever the case may be, the address where the things will be delivered to. If there's any discounts, you can add them in there as well. And in the product box here, this is where we capture, once you have a particular product that we talking about, or that the client has expressed an interest in, this is where it's recorded. And we've eventually got the sales information, where we've captured the potential customer who's wanting to buy your goods or services, and the opportunity from where it came from. And if there's any description that you need to put in there, you can add any other extra bits that you might find relevant to that transaction. And at the top here, it will show you at a high level the total amount that needs to be paid, and also when it's effective from, the lifetime of that particular quote. Because you can say, as an organization, we give out quotes, and quotes are valid for a week or 2 weeks or a month, whatever the case may be, depending on the organization's policy. I think we've got, do we have a question? Please, can you explain the revision ID and payment terms? So basically, payment terms are just basically what you agree with the client to say, we are giving you a product that we are selling to you, or a service, and the total amount is $2,000 US, for argument's sake. But however, the way we work, we want you to be able to pay us within 30 days of receiving the goods or receiving the service. Or you could say it's cash upfront, so you pay us and then we deliver, or we provide the service, or you make a bank transfer first once we have the amounts reflecting in our account, then can we can we go ahead and give you can we go ahead and give you the product or service that you desire? So that's how it works when it comes to courts payment terms. And then we've got the court life cycle here. So for the court life cycle, what you have is you've got one creating a court and then revising a court. So a court, you start by creating it, where you are simply saying, okay, this is what you want. You give the court, the initial court, and you populate it, with the relevant information. As you populate it with the relevant information, that would be the revision ID. I think someone is got their mic on. So you could have a revision ID of 1. If then you have another conversation with the client, and initially they had said, you know what, we wanted 60 units, but now we're expecting maybe more people to come in, so we now want 100 units. So obviously the court is going to change. So you change whatever things that are on that particular court, when you revise it. And then what happens is the revision ID increases, and this goes on to the next number up. So that's how the revision ID works. And I think that's just to answer that question from Temi. And now when it comes to sending courts, so courts initially when you do the courts, they start from a draft state and then they move on to an active state, and this you do before you send it. And you can send it in different ways or in different formats. You can use Word templates, you can use PDFs to send them out to your clients. And once you send them out, they are now in an active state. And then the client gets a quote. And in the quote, as you can see here, it's simply saying, this is our client, and we, as you agreed, these are the units that you want, and these are the prices per unit, the quantities that you want, and the total amount that needs to be paid. You've got the quote ID in there as well, and you've got how long the quote is valid for as well. So when the client gets that, they've got all kinds of information, right in front of them, and they can see what it is, that they have to work with. And then when we look at orders, it's pretty much similar as well. When an order is done, you've got your order numbers and you've got your names and currencies and all. And as you can notice, all these fields in here are mandatory because you want to make sure that everything within there is populated, because at some point you will need to maybe report on it. or if you're going to, you know, do your advanced find to search stuff. Those are some of the fields that you can easily use. And on the far right, we've got the sales information. And as you can see, it initially started as an opportunity. Then it moved on to the quote stage. We are capturing all that, and we've got the potential customer. But now we are at order stage. And in there, you've got all the necessary information of the products in there, and the shipping days and everything else. But if you notice, the values that are in here, they are almost similar to what is on a quote. So it's more like a reflection of the quote, but we are then saying now these are the things that are actually being ordered from the quote stage. And then so we've got so if we take a step back, when we are looking at quotes, so at that point we've created a quote which is going to go to our client. At times you if you work with other systems, you then have to go on and then create an order separately from that quote. But with Dynamics, you've got a facility where you can simply just convert that quote into an order. Hence, you notice that predominantly all the information mirrors what's on the quote, because at that point, you're simply just converting that quote into an order. And then when you create the order, there's various things which are populated as well and mandatory. And here you're simply saying that we've won this sale because you're doing an order, because someone has expressed a concrete interest in your product, and it's the day that you won that sale. And if there's any description that you need to put in there, you can simply put it in. And from there on, you then go on to close that opportunity. Because remember, we started from an opportunity. And also, if you want to calculate any revenues from the quotes moving forward. And then invoicing. As you can see, the invoicing screen is also similar, quite similar, you know, to our quotes and orders. So here at this particular time, we just create this one from an order, and then we send it out to the client. And this is when we are saying, okay, pay us. We've created, you know, your order for your stuff. And the next thing that, you know, you await from there is just the payment. So on here, we can notice this is the process that you go through. So at first, you've got a lead that we created. We qualified that lead. And then we realized, yeah, I think they're keen, you know, to buy, you know, from us. So let's convert that into an opportunity. It's created into an opportunity. You create a quote. From there, the quote, you convert it to create an order. Once you create an order, the next thing you're saying, okay, now that we've said we're going to give you our services or our product, we're going to give you an invoice, so you pay us. So this is the life cycle or the product catalog overview of what happens, you know, within that sales cycle. And then finally, there's labs that we'll do, but I think we'll have to do these labs once we have our accounts set up and ready. So conscious of time, I think we are now at 22:19. So what I'll probably do is I will then, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go on to the product itself so we can see closely what the product looks like and what's in there. And then we'll, at the back of that, we'll do a Q&A. But I think there's a question from Ruth. Between the time the quote moves into an order, could there be a U-turn from the part of the lead? Any consequence of or impact? So we've got a quote, and then that quote is now moving into an order. Could there be a consequence or impact? So basically what happens here is you sort of like agreed that we're going to, these are the units that you want from us of this particular product. And now we're creating an order because now we're saying, let's build this, or we need to give you this service. But then the client comes back to you and say, you know what, forget about it. And I'm sure if you use things that happen, you know, on a day-to-day basis, this is something which happens every day in our lives, where you go into a shop, you say, you know what, I want that dress, and then or I want that suit, but maybe on second thoughts, just before you know you pay for it, you say, you know what, forget about it. So there is not really much consequence, to be quite honest. What will simply happen is you just need to close down that activity, but you are closing it down as a lost sale. And then ATM, it says, looking at the life cycle, the qualify stage, would it be right to say some criteria have to be met? So yes, I'll probably say yes in terms of criteria, because for you to qualify some to qualify a lead, there has to be certain things that you look at before you say, okay, this person is you know, a potential customer. So yes, you employ certain things in there, you know, to qualify that that customer. And the criteria, it's really generic. It depends with you know, what the organization policy is regarding, you know, knowing that this person, you know, is ready to buy something, a service or a product from them. I hope that answers your question. Thank you. So now, if you bear with me, I'm going to stop sharing, and then I just need to bring up D365. I don't know where I've got it. I know I have it somewhere. Okay, let me know when you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
We can.
Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
I think I've got a question there. Yeah, I'll probably say, Pat, it's based on your business rules. Yes, that's correct. So, because as an organization, you might have, business rules to say, you know what, for us to take someone from one stage and we qualify them, they have to have met this, one or two, three things. And those are the business rules that are within that organization. Right. So can you all see my screen now?
Yes,
Yes, we can.
Can someone just give me a signal that you can see my screen? I'm sharing the Dynamics 365.
Yes.
Yes, we can. We
Yes,
can.
we can see your screen, Dan.
Can you
Or-
hear us? Dan? I think we've lost him.
Hi,
Have I
Dan.
lost everyone on the call?
Dan, we can hear you loud and clear.
See your screen.
Done.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Rita. So if you notice, if we go into I'll probably start from leads. If it decides to load. So we'll attempt and just create a quick lead. So if you notice here, we've got a topic, which is filled, which is mandatory. So I'll probably say, product. And then we have, the name of that lead in there. So, Tom. And if you want to put a job title, you can put a job title. And then from there, if you notice that, we've just put in the bare minimum information of that particular lead, it will create that lead. And then the next stage that you need to do is you need to, qualify that lead, which you can then do, through here. then you can notice that our lead, is qualified. It's now gone into the opportunity stage. But in the opportunity, we've got the product linked to that customer, and our currency in this case is, British pounds. And then from there, you can then do your orders or your quotes or the products, whatever products are in there. You can add, if there's products, but we haven't got any products in there. If I quickly create a product, so this product, we'll just call it TV set. And we'll probably say, we give a TV set. 'For argument's sake, we're going to say a TV set is valid, until 2026, at that date. So, and then, save and close. So we've got a product that we've created in there. But if you notice that if we then go on to our leads, this is our lead here. And we've got, all the information that relates to the lead. We've already, qualified the lead. If we need to add anything else, to that lead, if we need to put them on a marketing list, those are things that we can obviously do as well. And then from the quotes, we can then just do all the conversions that need to be done. But in our case, we haven't got any quotes. But those are the subsequent steps that you just take from, and we haven't got any any orders as well. But conscious of the time, that's basically what everything looks like. So it's not like you're going to be doing any things in one area, then you go and you navigate, a different place. Everything is all here, and it's linked to that lead that you create. And from there, once you put a quote, you then do, the necessary conversions or opportunities. You convert the opportunities, and then you generate your quotes, and then you get your orders and stuff like that. But I think what will then happen is for you to get a good handle of things on this, once we have your accounts, maybe in the next session, I don't know how we'll probably do this. Maybe we might just need just to quickly give you pointers on what it is that you might need to look at. But also, when you get accounts, feel free to reach out to me. And if you have any questions, I'm happy, to take them at that point. So now, conscious of our time, I think we said that we were going to leave a bit of time, for QAs. It's now 30 or 25, 26 minutes rather, before, we get to the top of this class. Is it okay if we is it okay if we dive into QAs now?
Yeah, I think let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So I think I just did, a quick whiz through of the product itself. But I think for you to get a good handle of things, I would suggest when you get your accounts, all you need to do is just to practice, practice, and practice. And like I said, I'm available. If you struggle with anything, just give me a shout, ping me a message, and yeah, we'll see if we can assist each other. Pat is
Yeah, yeah, thanks, Dan. Yeah, just a quick question. If you go to the leads, create leads
lead
page.
section. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, thank you.
So here what we have is we've got views. These are basically just views.
Views, okay.
And you can create your own views. But however, when the product comes, it comes with pre-built views to make your lives easy.
Okay, so I guess that's where I'm going as well. So this preview, this views that are being incorporated into this particular page. So I could select, I'm just thinking like a developer now, I could select any of these pre-filled views and use it as my starting point. Is that the case?
You can, because for instance, you can notice I can go into leads.
Yeah.
And it will show me all the leads that are within the organization.
Okay.
And you can see here, this is the lead that I created. I'm the owner and the lead is qualified. But if I go into my default view, which is my open leads, I haven't got any because I haven't got an open lead. But if I create just another lead, so
so Alex, in this situation, can I change my field titles, topic? If I don't want the topic there, I want the topic to be ID or any other description. Is it possible to change that?
That is very possible. So
where do I change that?
That you would have to work at form levels within the solution. You don't do it on top here.
Okay.
Because if there's a requirement, say the organization you are working with, you've shown them the product and they see this and they're quite happy, but they turn around and say, you know what, by the way, we don't use job titles here, or we don't want this one to be first name, we just want it to be name.
Yeah.
Or you might even want to add in an extra field for middle name.
Mm-hmm.
So you do that within solutions, but not here. So those are things that you do through solutions.
All right. Can you
because
show?
you're changing what the product looks like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you have to go into solutions and then you create a new solution and then you change the forms from there.
Perfect. So that's actually where I'm going, because looks like we may need to change some form fields to customize that to the product that we are looking at building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it would be relatable to the project.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. Are you looking at this from a BA perspective where you're saying,
yeah,
I need to have an extra field
mm-hmm.
on this form?
Mm-hmm.
And
Or
in this
remove?
section, I want
Yeah.
an extra field for, maybe middle name, or
Yes.
you need something, else for maybe change this topic to something else, or, you might want to hide certain fields from there.
Correct.
Yeah, so from BA perspective, what you simply need to do is you write that requirement and you create, the user story for it.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
And then the guys that are doing the dev work,
Okay.
you pass it on to them. They will take that and will show them how to do it through, solutions.
Okay. So when are we going to have that solutions process
So
done?
there's already
Structure?
there's already solutions which are already in the system, and there's a default solution which is holding all this that we can see at the present moment. But for you to be able to change things, it's not best practice to change them from here, and you can't do them from here anyway.
Okay.
You need to want to have elevated rights to be able to access the settings area.
Okay.
That's number one. So when you have elevated access, you can then access this, because in a normal working environment, not every user has access to this, and they shouldn't have access to this anyway.
Yeah. Correct.
Because this is where, for lack of a better word, the magic happens. So you don't want people to be coming and changing things. Yeah.
Okay. So the email addresses that you have, that means for those that will be doing the development part of it, will need the elevated access. And is it going to be in the same environment as well, or a shared environment where developers can work on different sections, so that we can turn around the delivery to the Scrum team for them to be able to run with their sprint?
I think that's a very good question, and it's quite key. So what I'll probably need to do is I'll have a conversation outside this meeting with Alex and Deji.
Okay.
To find out for the dev guys, do we want them to play around in this, or we'll spin up another solution? But I think they will play around with this. But also, for those that are doing the dev work or the configuration and customization of things, if we can make sure that we have all the names ASAP of those people, and you highlight them, so that when Alex creates the accounts, he gives them, the elevated rights and permissions.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for that. Yeah, that's all for me.
Okay, so maybe just to carry on from there, if you notice, this is where, if you want to change anything on the system, this is where you work in for those that are doing dev. So if you notice, there is solutions in there. So if someone wants to do something or they want to change something, this is where they have to come and play in. So they have to create a new solution, add components in that solution, change things, and then things will start looking differently from there on.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you ever so much. Do we have any other questions from anyone? I think Mary has got a question.
Hi, Dan.
Hi, Mary.
I think Pat highlighted some of the things that I was going to say, because one of it was were we putting us through as users or as administrators. And I think you touched on that.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah. So from the point of a BA, would you need to be like an administrator to be able to know like how to sort of like analyze your requirements, what can be tweaked and what cannot be tweaked? Because if you have as a BA, if you have an understanding of what can be done or not done within the system, within the application, that having that insight when you're dealing with your stakeholders, that could be helpful.
True, I completely agree with you. And I'll probably say, I don't know, and Deji, pull me back if I'm running away to the hills here. I think for the purposes of this, probably we want to look at BAs as more of functional consultants. If you remember, at some point, I think this was noted that in the Dynamics 365 world, BAs are referred to as functional consultants. And what it is in the Dynamics 365 world is basically a hybrid role. So you do the BA work and you do, a bit of config work as well. So ideally, you are looking at a functional consultant who's got access to, yes, the settings area where you can look at things and also, if need be, if it works, you can do, slight changes, tweaks here and there, because that's your job to configure things as well. So I'll probably say as a BA, you need access to that.
Okay, sorry.
But like I said, I think it would be good if we maybe carry on as functional consultants.
That's a little twist to that actually, because there's some BAs here. For the guys in Zeta, right? If you're in Zeta, you're going to be a BA, right? Because I still want you to know how to write the stories. So having to write a story and do configuration and also learn dynamics in 3 months, at the end, you will not know anything, to be honest. So it's, we'll stay focused, right? To say, in the guys in Zeta, you'll be writing the requirement for this, right? But if you're in Omega, you are more experienced actually. So so those are the functional consultants, so to say, down, right?
Okay.
Sorry, my question was just in like general basis, not just for Blue Sky, just like for understanding. And I've got a second question anyway, and it's related to the project we're working on. If so for this first sprint, we're looking at settings, security settings and authentication. So who would have access to, or how to have access into the application. And then my second, for this second sprint, I believe we want to look at the roles within the application, within the sales or within the CRM. So is there any out of the box, sort of like a hierarchy or, like profiling? How do you profile who is within the organization?
What do you mean by profiling?
Sort of like, let's say, who would be like a sales manager, like what job role, what
persona, right? The persona that you're going to, So you need to decide that actually as a BA. I don't know, are you a BA or Scrum Master or QA?
A BA. So I'm just talking about out of the box dynamics.
In the Zeta, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So whatever in the Zeta or in a general environment, right, you would determine who your personas are, right? So for instance, let's say Blue Sky, for instance, you have the students, right? You have the tutors, you have the mentors, right? And I think yesterday, Dan also mentioned the university case study as well. So if you work in a bank, you have different people as well, teller, cashier, cash officer, marketers, maybe IT. They have different roles and they have access to different areas of the portal, right? They logged into. So, and those are the things that you will set up as a functional consultant and giving everyone access to see what they need to see. And as a BA, you might also need to write it down that this person should have this access to this. You may, if you are not a functional consultant, you don't care how it's done, you get it as a BA, just write it out. But as a functional consultant, you will know how to do it as well. And as a keyway, you will now take that document, you will verify that the person that needs to have access to that area have access to that area and does not have access to area that it doesn't need to have access to, right? So that's how everything fits together.
Yes. So when it comes to giving those permissions to roles, is there anything that is default within the CRM? That's what I'm asking. Is there anything that?
Yeah, of course there will be default, but to be honest, when it comes to you, right, there's no default, right? In the sense that the vanilla is open to everybody. I think that's another thing that Alex said yesterday. There is some button that they switch off and on. So when it comes like that, I think everything is open, right? In terms of the vanilla one, because they assume that it's just a playing environment. Nothing is restricted. Everyone got access. But that is not how it's going to be on the live environment. That's why you are here, to actually say, now we need to restrict everything. Do you get it now? So that people get access to what they need to get. That is the place where the functional consultant or developer comes into place to actually ensure that you are able to see what you need to see. But by default, Dan, please correct me, everyone has got access to see everything if you don't configure it.
Yeah, so at the present moment, I think depending on the security roles that will be given to people.
Not here. I think she's talking about the vanilla one that comes if you install it, right, without doing any configuration.
Yeah, so initially, say
you're an admin, isn't it?
You get a vanilla and you get a trial, you've got access to everything.
Yeah.
But then you can then tie it down. Say, for instance, you've got people that are working in there, or even you can take it further. So let's say this is our instance that we're working with, and Deji only works, with the sales leads, opportunities, and competitors, and accounts and contacts, but he hasn't got anything to do with marketing stuff. So best practice as well is you can create apps for specific teams. So I can create an app for Deji's team that only looks at the sales part and the customers and maybe dashboards and activities, but not see anything to do with marketing lists and quick campaigns, because that's not within their job remit. But then again, we could have Mary working in the marketing department, and she needs to see marketing lists and codes and whatever it is, but she doesn't have to see certain things as well, like goals and metrics and all that stuff. So you can create a separate app as well, which only shows the things that she needs to see on that particular app. So if we have that app for Mary's team, that means everything that she does not need to see, it will not feature here. We'll only give a security rules that gives you access to certain things, and we put the links to where she wants or where she has to go only here. Everything else you won't be able to see. I don't know if that answers your question, Mary.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Understand it better. Thank you. Thank you.
So there's something I want to do for the next 10 minutes. Actually, maybe this might make us to start earlier than what we think, actually, so that you guys can kickstart working on this application. I'm going to share some details with you now. So if you can go there, that'll be fine. If not, you can do that later. So quickly. Okay, so if you just share with Omega and Zeta. So please ensure that you don't share these details with anyone, actually. And not even your friends, not even people on this platform, not people in your team. So if anyone is not seeing it directly, please don't share it, please. I do beg of you, all right? Don't share with anyone, please.